they actually use a safer ball now, which I only recently found out last year because I guess some kids were, dying or something.
Hey Bearcats, welcome to the next episode of the Bonita Interviews series. I'm Bianca, and this week I had the pleasure of interviewing Mr. Dukowsky. He is the AP Environmental and AP Chem teacher. We talked about him growing up on the East Coast and playing lacrosse. Let's get started. Hello.
Hello.
So I've heard that you grew up on the East Coast.
I did.
What are some of your favorite parts about living over there?
Some of my favorite parts about living, I was born and raised on Long Island.
Okay.
In New York. But some of the favorites, I guess, of that area would be, I grew up going to the beach, North Shore of the Long Island Sound. So I'm still partial to the beach.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of New York State, though, some things that are my favorite parts would be there's a lot of apple orchards in New York. So it's one of the things I miss, apple picking in the fall.
Yeah.
And there's some nice mountains in the northern part of New York.
Mm-hmm.
And I spend a lot of time there in the summertime. So those are some of my favorite parts that I totally miss.
Yeah, sounds super cool. We do not have any of that. Like over here, we have the beach, but apple picking will not happen. And then why did you move over here?
I moved ultimately for my wife.
Okay.
Yeah. I tried to get her to move to New York.
Yeah.
That didn't work, at least at first. So I moved out here.
And how old were you when you moved?
Young.
Were you well, you said you tried to get her to move over there, so you were kind of iffy about moving over here?
Yeah, well, I liked where I was.
Uh-huh.
I liked the school I was teaching at.
Yeah.
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 But I was willing, and obviously I did. So, I was willing to move out to California.
Yeah. And then, how different is the lifestyle over there compared to lifestyle over here?
So I guess it depends on where you live.
Okay.
My lifestyle would be different. Living closer to the city, New York City,
Mm-hmm.
versus further out. So where I grew up was suburbs, similar to around here.
Yeah.
Suburbs of New York City. And then where I was teaching was a little bit further away.
Mm-hmm.
And then more closer to more nature kind of stuff. So,
okay.
Which I embraced. Big fan of the nature thing.
Yeah.
So but then, traveling into the city, things change, obviously.
Yeah.
So it was nice to have both those options.
Yeah.
It's one of the things I miss as well.
Yeah, and then do you like living over there more or over here?
Both places have pros and cons. I've lived in a couple different places, South Carolina, Pennsylvania. There's definitely pros and cons everywhere. Yeah. So there's definitely things I like better in New York, and there's things that I like better in California. So
yeah, and then so I know you played lacrosse, and that's more so common in the East Coast. Can you tell me how it works?
Yeah. So lacrosse it's called the fastest game on 2 feet. It's very similar to ice hockey, except you're not on ice, and instead of the puck, you have a ball.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, rules are very similar, except there's not allowed to fight. But pretty much most of the other rules are pretty identical to ice hockey. So it's like that.
Okay, and then what got you interested in lacrosse?
So, when I actually had never heard of lacrosse. So where I grew up, where I was born and raised, was a town called Port Jefferson, and they didn't have lacrosse. It's one of the few school districts that didn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know it existed, but I went to a different school. I went to a prep school, and so starting in 7th grade, and my wrestling coach, actually is the varsity wrestling coach. He bought us a lacrosse stick and put it in my hand. He's like, "I'll give this to you if you play."
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. I had played baseball up until then. So,
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It seemed, and a bunch of my friends were like, "Yeah, let's play." So we did, and yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And was it easy to like adjust? Because like you didn't know anything about it, so
No, it's not easy. It's hard to pick up at first, for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
yeah. And then how long did you end up playing for?
Until I graduated college.
Oh, really? So you played in college?
Yes.
Did you like playing in college? Like, was it better?
Yeah, I did. I liked it a lot. I really did. Yeah, I played at Division I NCAA level for a little bit,
Okay.
and then transferred schools and played D3. I actually had to get the school that I was at to elevate their club team to varsity status.
Uh-huh.
So that took a year to get them to do that, and then things were different back then with eligibility and
Yeah.
all kinds of strictness, which just don't exist now. I'm a little jealous, but it's okay, I guess.
And then do rules change like from high school going to college? Because I know some sports are like that where you can do more stuff if you're playing in college. Does that happen in lacrosse too?
It wasn't too much of a difference. The rules have changed since then. They actually use a safer ball now, which I only recently found out last year because I guess some kids were dying or something. Getting hit. It was kind of an occasional thing that happened like once every year or so.
Yeah.
But somehow they made it safer. I don't know. It doesn't cause as much injury. I definitely had a good amount of injuries.
Yeah.
But.
Okay. And then would you ever want to start like a lacrosse team here?
I feel like our current principal asked me his first year.
Really?
So I miss it sometimes. I actually coached after I graduated briefly, and it's a big time commitment coaching.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I miss it. I miss the sport because I don't get to play anymore. So there are times when I'm like, maybe I could coach.
Yeah.
But I don't know. My focus is kind of with other things now.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I think it would be hard too because like, well, I don't know if many people over here really know about lacrosse. Like, I know ice hockey, like, slowly started traveling over here, and we have ice hockey teams here. But, like, I haven't heard of anyone. Like, I've never met anyone that plays lacrosse over here.
Oh, yeah. So they do. The high school teams that have lacrosse are on the coast.
Okay.
Which is a little bit further from us. And then around Temecula has a cluster of schools that play.
Okay. That's really cool. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Now back to the studio. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed getting to know Mr. Dukowsky better and his childhood on the East Coast. Stay curious, Bearcats, and join us next week for another interview. See you then.